Why does everyone in the Big Ten become Iowa?
Everything evolves to eventually become a crab.
Ryan Day wanted the crab fight.
This team has two claws and he wants to snip at you with them.
He will play like the crab if he feels threatened.
All right, so we had a handful of pretty juicy topics this week. Lane, can we start off with Lane Kiffin? Where do we think Lane Kiffin's actually going to go? Because I thought he was going to go to LSU. I don't know if everyone saw that announcement about like they're throwing him like a bag, but yeah, anyone have any thoughts about where we actually think he's going to go?
I don't think that Lane knows where he's going to go. I think uh I think he has fully no idea and he's going to wait until the minute after the Egg Bowl ends and he's going to just flip a three-sided coin. I have no idea what he's going to do.
I think that's the exciting thing about a coach that's been in the league, not in the league, but like in coaching for so long. And the only consistent thing is that he's unpredictable. Like, I don't get it's just cynical. He's either like bluffing for a contract or like halfway out the door in like one of the best Ole Miss seasons ever. Like what are we supposed to do with this? Like, how do you tell yourself like, okay, the playoff matters, the postseason matters, like everything is so intense, we're heating up right now. But Lane Kitchen's like, dude, I gotta Lane Kiffin is like, dude, I got a $90 million biggie bag waiting for me when I get home. What are how do we move forward from here in any direction?
Well, the way that it's all been allowed to play out publicly, I think is the biggest problem I'll take with how Lane's handling the situation because I mean, I get it on some level. You have these two big ass jobs open, right? And if you're Lane, you should be jockeying for these jobs. You're the number one candidate for both. But you don't need to be having Jimmy Sexton and the schools be leaking all of this information like mid-season to push narratives or get a bigger offer from Ole Miss so you can go back to LSU and say, "Hey, Ole Miss is going to give me more. What are you going to give me?" I just I I wish it was happening behind the scenes and under the table because it's got to suck to be an Ole Miss fan right now, which it generally sucks for them for the last like 70 years. But
But who's counting?
Sorry, Colby, you were going to go. I didn't want to.
No, all good. I will say, so I don't know if y'all keep up with college baseball, but so we went to the Natty a couple years ago, and then Jim Schlossnagle leaves after the whole debacle. And so after that, I've been conditioned, even with Mike Elko. I know he just signed a new contract, but just enjoy things while you have them, and don't even trust like anything that anybody puts out, because you know, time. I don't know what it is about this industry, but just like the people who will just lie to your face and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go here," or like, "Oh, I'm staying put." It's just like you can't trust them. Now I will say there's just feels like there's a lot of smoke here. So with that being said, I was like, okay, feels like it's time. And I heard that he was like actually gonna go to Auburn, but he got like the bag like he wanted. And so, you know, there's not necessarily a whole lot of loyalty there, but the most Lane Kiffin thing is to do this and just be like, I'm back, guys. So that's kind of where I don't really know what to see. I just know I can't trust anything that he says.
Does
yeah,
anyone actually think there's a chance he stays at Ole Miss? Between
yes.
Auburn, Florida, LSU, you think he might stay at Ole Miss?
Well, yes, I think there's a chance he says Auburn has a 0% chance, dude. Like Colby just said, we went
Just
through
because of
that whole
last time?
shenanigans. He left us at the altar. He had the contract. He was going to sign it, and then he let his daughter convince him that Ole Miss was cool or whatever. I'm thrilled that we are not in this Ole Miss or the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes this time around.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, he would be successful at Auburn. He's going to be successful wherever he goes, but like
yeah. I feel
he's
like
also Lane and he's
I
exhausting.
I feel like he is gonna get it back because he is dragging them through the mud right now. Like he had his kid family touring schools in Florida like very publicly in Gainesville. Then he was like at LSU on a bye week and like he's like I feel like there's no way he stays because you can't do this and come back. Like it would like also they're a playoff team. So if he was gonna stay, you'd think he wouldn't want to jeopardize that. Like this might be his one playoff team at Ole Miss. You really don't know. So I don't know. I guess that's all I had to say about it. But if I were Auburn, I would want Lane Kiffin. I feel like he's a very good fit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't want him. I'm just I don't want my head coach to be as annoying as Lane is and also doing this to the school every 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. For
So
the
I'm cool
record,
with it.
my bet is Florida. He coached at Florida Atlantic. I think he would prefer Florida. I got a feeling that that's like they're the winners in this race, probably. Also, their roster is in better shape, in my opinion, than LSU's roster, even though LSU is like technically a better team.
I think Florida makes the most sense on top of all the administrative dysfunction and governor involvement that's going on in LSU.
Yeah, yeah. Also, when they pick, I was gonna say when he picks, they should do it like it's when recruits have like hats, they should do that, but with like sorority chicks, and he like chooses which one.
Put it on game day next week. Fuck it.
Yeah.
What
Uh,
was the list of names I gave? Hide your Caitlins and your McKenlins. Lane Kiffin's coming to town. Like,
Joey Freshwater, baby. He's on the prowl.
all right. Speaking of the coaching stuff, Virginia Tech hired James Franklin, which I don't know about you guys. I thought this was like a home run for everybody involved.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call it like a grand slam home run, but it's minimum double in the gap. This is a very good hire. Like exactly what Virginia Tech needs. And James Franklin is a good football coach. And James has rebuilt programs from the ashes before. He had success at Vandy. Penn State was just coming off the sanctions when he got there. Like, yeah, this is great.
I think one of the things that my immediate reaction to it was as good of a move as this is for Virginia Tech, it's even better for him. Just like for his mental health and well-being, like totally resetting expectations, going into an easier conference. Like I think Vasish and I were gaming this out this week when I was driving. Uh, the fact that he can step into a conference where there is no supreme, he can take 2 or 3 years to get right on track with who? Clemson, Florida State, SMU. Come on, like it's all right there for him. And by the time they get things going, it'll be too late to stop. Like the fan base has survived much worse than a rebuild with promise. So I think this is a monster in the making, as Vasista wanted so bad at the beginning of this season.
I was gonna say, so I've watched some of like the previews like ESPN like for the game yesterday, and it was I don't know if this ever happened before. It hasn't at least in the past like 5 years, but to see a coach who started at a major university and then what, 10 weeks later, he is like in full Virginia Tech gear on the sidelines. He's not coaching. He's not the coach, but he's just there. And it's not a bowl game because we've seen that where it's like there's a coach, he's at the bowl game, but he's up in his suite, he's letting the interim do. But you had 2 games left in the season and he's like out on the sidelines, saying hi to everybody. And I'm like, whoa, this is so the optics of that, I was like, wow, this is a crazy time. But Josh, to your point, um, yeah, I saw our old quarterback Haynes King go down yesterday with Georgia Tech, and I was like, does anybody want to win this conference? Like, shoot, just give it to Duke at this point. At least they're competitive. So, it's with yeah, to your point, Josh. I think unless somebody else in the ACC decides to get their stuff together, Virginia Tech, assuming James Franklin can maintain the recruiting that he had at Penn State, should be set up for at least some stability there for the program.
Yeah, I thought this was a home run because like first of all, Virginia Tech, you got I don't know, a top three candidate on the market at a minimum. It'd be what, Kiffin, him, and probably some guys who are in a job right now that we're not acknowledging yet. But anyway, they got the top three guy. Also, I thought it was notable that Brent Pry was the head coach at Virginia Tech before when he got fired, right? And that was his defensive coordinator at Penn State. So I would
Pry
imagine,
was Franklin's longest serving assistant.
yeah, so I imagine that they had to have talked about before he took this job about resources or like how the inner workings of the admin actually are. Because first of all, expectations are like relatively low. It's a rebuild. It's like exactly very similar to the Penn State situation he came into before, where like it's a program that has like can win, like has fans, has resources, like I don't know. I thought it was very similar to Penn State, like perfect fit for him. On top of that, he's kind of a big name, so you know he's going to get a bigger and like the boosters will open up their wallets for him, like probably more than they would have Brent Pry or somebody else. And on top of that, it's the DMV. He's been hitting that for Penn State for a while. Like I would imagine this is like kind of in his recruiting backyard as well. So I mean, yeah, I just good for you, Virginia Tech. I used to live in Northern Virginia, so I know that you guys have fans that have not had anything to celebrate in so long. So that's all. I don't know how long it'll take. It might take if he gets to a bowl game in his first year, it's like a grand slam success. Like I think I said to Josh, it's actually weirdly also like the Dion in Colorado thing. Where it's like if he could just bring some life back to this dead body of a program, like that would be a success in itself. So yeah, I think that was the main stuff. Anyone else have anything before we jump? Perfect. Mountain West Mayhem. Josh, this was you pay attention to the Mountain West more than I do. You
Well,
have to fill this in.
well, it's more than anything, it's by the time Saturday night rolls around, I've already watched more college football than I honestly want to. So I'm like, all right, let's peel back the layer on what happened last night. But in this case, the biggest game was on Friday and it was decided by halftime. So Hawaii gets blown out by UNLV. Did not see that coming. And the title race is up to the last week. I'm not sure exactly what the tiebreakers are, but I got the big matchups. UNLV in order of likelihood of the contender to win. UNLV is at Nevada. They'll be fine. Uh Boise's at Utah State. Should be favored. I think they're trying to figure out their quarterback situation, but I think Maddox Madsen is back. Fingers crossed. Then New Mexico at San Diego State. This could be if San Diego State wants to hand them the win and face New Mexico, they might just rest their starters or something and say, hey, we'll see you in Vegas. Like that's an interesting circumstance. Like San Diego State gets to kind of pick who their contender will be. And I believe that game happens on Saturday, and the other one of them happens earlier in the day or on Friday, like on Black Friday. So things should be pretty interesting by the time this last game rolls around. Uh, New Mexico, if they do just have to face San Diego State, like trying their hardest or whatever for maybe a playoff spot, then good luck, buddy. It's been rough sledding all year, but this is exciting. New Mexico, we mentioned them briefly when they played UCLA earlier this season, and this is the better team they expected to play. So this is a huge matchup, and I'll just be frank. You're gonna have to tell me how it goes on Sunday morning. So that's that for me.
Who's like the favorite in the Mountain West in your opinion?
San Diego State.
Okay.
Their defense has been incredible, and their offense just hasn't screwed it up. I think they had one loss that wasn't too great. I can't even remember who it was, but they bounced back since. And honestly, the Mountain West has a ton of teams that are just terrible, like Colorado State and Nevada come to mind. And then I think Wyoming's kind of mid this year too. So all these like real contenders are just feasting on bad matchups. Like I was surprised there were, well, these aren't even. I mean, Boise at Utah State could be a game, but like, I- whatever. It's football. It's on. Check it out. We'll be looking for the results.
Speaking of conference races, I think we mentioned this just last 5 seconds ago. The ACC race. Can we talk about the fact that there's three matchups now that are going to decide things? So Virginia, Virginia Tech, SMU, Cal, Pitt, Miami, and I love that Josh wrote down Georgia Tech versus personal demons. But is there a path where they knock themselves out of just having multiple people in the playoff, right? Because ACC winner has to go. But outside of that, who are their fringe guys? It'd be Miami. If Miami loses to Pitt, if SMU loses to Cal, and then Virginia, I don't know if it matters if they lose to Virginia Tech because they're still in the ACC championship, right?
I don't think anyone's clinched outright yet,
Okay. Because they have a loss to NC State, Virginia, right?
but not a conference game.
Very important.
Can someone explain that to me again?
So those two teams got used to playing each other back in the divisional days. And then now that the ACC is a 17 team fucking stupid ass coast to coast conference, they weren't going to play each other for like the next 5 years or something. So those two teams got together and were like, hey, let's do a home and home in the non-conference because we have like a mini rivalry.
Okay, that's beautiful that you can do that. Didn't even know that was possible, but
Fucking stupid.
yeah, anyway. Who do we think is going to make the ACC title game?
Well, I gave you in the way I wrote them down likelihood of the contender winning. So UVA over Virginia Tech. I don't care if James Franklin's in the building. They should win that one handily. SMU versus Cal. SMU will be favored, but Cal, when you have a good quarterback, anything's on the table. It also, you could be shut out by San Diego State, but who's counting? Then Pitt at Pitt versus Miami. I think Miami just out of frustration could spoil things for Pitt. Uh, I gained a grudging respect for Pitt. I mean, what else can I say? So that one should be probably the best game in the conference because Georgia Tech versus Georgia isn't in the conference. So that's really disappointing that this game isn't like the juicy steak it was last year, but who knows?
Is there any hope? Well, let me rephrase it this way. For the people that work for Mickey Mouse, they definitely want to see Miami. And man, oh man, if everybody else just like falls apart, I mean, how that would just be so weird because Miami is kind of trending up. But if you can't make it to your conference title, like, I mean, I don't really know what you do with them. So that's really my only thing coming out of the ECC is just like I don't really know what to do with you guys because yeah, it's not good.
What would our ideal circumstance be? Like out of UVA, SMU, Pitt, Georgia Tech, who would we want to see in the ACC championship game?
I want to see Georgia Tech, Virginia. That's my
Same.
personal pick. I would like to see both those teams after both going to hell, returning to be in the ACC championship. That would be beautiful to me.
Plus, it'd be another new playoff team, which
Right, right.
I'm pro.
I hope Virginia can make the playoffs. That would be insane. They suck. They're finally good. That would be amazing. That's the only advantage of the expanded playoff is to get a team like Virginia in.
With
That'd
that
be
being
great.
said, the ACC champion, at least for the past couple CFP rankings, has been projected to be in A&M's bracket, and I'm like, let's go. And not only that, but Ole Miss has been projected to be in A&M's bracket, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like Lake Gifford on his way out. Then you have the ACC champion. Like, yeah, semis, here we come.
I would prefer SMU UVA. One, because SMU is a fake ACC team, and it would be very funny if they're back in the ACC championship again. Two, Virginia for all the same reasons. I mean, Friday Night Magic kicked this off, and to see it concluded in Charlotte, that just feels appropriate. I'm so shocked Georgia Tech has fallen out of favor here. I'm just disappointed. That's all
Well,
I'll say.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, yeah, no. I think I think the ACC champ, they're not necessarily going to get a bye. I would assume they're just not going to get a bye no matter what, right? Because one of the conference champions just doesn't get one now, right?
No, no, none of them are guaranteed to buy anymore. It's
Right, but
straight rankings. Yeah,
they're definitely not. Okay.
they're definitely not getting a buy.
All right. That's notable. Next topic. Josh,
Well,
oh, sorry.
would you mind if we did the next conference race?
Yes,
Just
the
to
American race.
keep the pattern. Sure.
Yeah.
The American race is what was in my head when I wrote it down. Navy at Memphis. This is the opposite order. I wrote them at different times. Navy at Memphis is probably the best game we have going into the weekend between two contenders, but I don't think both of them could make it. North Texas versus Temple should be a walkthrough for North Texas, and Tulane versus Charlotte. Yeah, but Tulane is ranked right now, should get another win, could play a team tough in the playoff if they make it. I have no idea how they'll choose it, but this one could be a great chance for them to have some style points and then I think host the championship is how it works in the American. Yeah. That's that. The nods. Okay. I
Well,
know we're all
Navy versus
disappointed South
Memphis.
Florida's not here, but it's fair.
Navy versus Memphis is on our previews, so I didn't want to jump into that because that is the best matchup, but we are going to talk about it. So that's why I'm
I
saying it.
I wonder how this works tiebreaker wise in like the Americans bylaws or whatever, because the Army Navy game I don't believe counts, right? Because it happens a week after conference championships.
Yes.
So like is Navy gonna be potentially 7-1 going into conference championships if they beat Memphis this week? That's weird. That's weird.
Also, I don't think Navy, we were talking about this earlier. Navy can't like make the playoff, right? Because they like aren't allowed to play in it.
No, they can do it.
Oh, I thought they had some like postseason thing where they don't do that or something like what was it?
Well, they have the weird thing again, like I guess the same deal as the conference championships, where Selection Sunday is before the Army Navy game. So if Navy wins the American and as a 9-2 team gets, bumped to the front of the stack, they could be put into the playoff and then go and lose to Army, like, and then still be in the playoff. Like it's
That'd be
bizarre, man.
that'd be
It's very
beautiful.
weird.
By
That's
the
all.
way, just mentioning Army because I wanted an excuse to shout out Tulsa. Tulsa pulls off a great comeback again against them this weekend. And what a year for Army to lose to Tarleton State, beat Kansas State, and then end the year losing to Tulsa. But hey, the win over Navy fixes everything. So what a wild ride for them.
Also, wait, just while we're on Army Navy, I just random story when I lived in Washington D.C. I remember meeting a guy who was in the army, and or he what previously was in the army, and it was Army Navy, and I was like, "Oh, dude, are you gonna watch Army Navy? Like, are you gonna watch that game?" And he was like, "Why would I? Like, I don't give a shit what a bunch of officers do," and then just walked off. And it gave me a little different perspective on the Army Navy game. That's all I'll say. It's the rich kid officer game, apparently.
But just to your point, though, I will say in my family, because my mom was in the Navy, my dad was in the Army. It was a big deal growing up in my house. But I talked to when I was at A&M, we had a program director. And he went to A&M and then he went into the Army for like 20 years. And I asked him about it. He gave me the exact same answer. He was like, "Why did I?" He goes, "I already have one poor football team to watch. Why should I give a shit about the other one? So, you know, but I would say there is a fair amount. I mean, so the Armed Forces Bowl is at TCU Stadium, and we used to go every year as a kid just to like see whoever was playing because I had a cousin who was also like in the Air Force, so whoever was able to go, we were able to see it. So, but yeah, to your point, there are people out there I was like, oh, this isn't unanimous like whenever I was growing up like a kid. Like it was a big deal. And like some people are like, no. They say, screw those officers.
Yeah.
Every
All right.
time I flip channels and the Army Navy game is on, it's like, oh yeah, that
Yeah.
does happen today. And I don't know, it just always looks so cold, no matter who's there. Just a cold, miserable game, and everyone's in their like, what is it? The single, like double layer like jackets that they have. Like
Looks
it's
sick.
just strange watching so many people wearing white gloves go, whoa! Like
It does have that like Pro Bowl effect where you turn on the TV, you're like, oh, it's the Pro Bowl or something. You just you find yourself watching it. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, yeah, that was all I had on that. Josh wrote this down in our notes. I thought this was super funny because I actually didn't realize it. But we only talked about Ohio State once this season, and that was the first game against Texas, and then we never mentioned them again. And
Good.
and then I looked at their schedule, and I'm like, yeah, their schedule fucking sucks. Like partially because like not their fault. Like Penn State was theoretically supposed to be good. Maybe Wisconsin could have put together a more respectable football team. Like it's not entirely their fault, but like they haven't played anybody, and they've got Michigan right around the corner. So
have
that was
any of you seen Berserk?
like the anime.
Yes.
Yes, I have.
Very gruesome,
Yes, it is.
underselling it. The manga's even worse. But in the background of Berserk, it's this very like gives you these different like stories of like these knights rising through the rank, becoming like nobles, and then having this like crazy like final act in the story. In the background there's this esoteric, what is it, a transcendental something or other that like lurks in the background. There's like this element of mystical power that the entire show is built on that rises its head up in different intervals. That's Ohio State this year. The fact that they've been the biggest game of the week in week one, and like, oh wow, there is some like magical power that lurks somewhere in college football. But then you leave it alone, it's like, oh yeah, what a thrilling season Miami's had. Oh, the rise and fall of Georgia Tech. Like, this is so fascinating. And then it's like, oh yeah, the team that was ranked number one every week, but the first one where they arguably should have been, is the best team, and they've looked like it the entire time. And the only reason anyone would bring them up is to say, like, should Julian Sand be the Heisman favorite? And people that have that discussion are like, well, I haven't really watched much Sand this year. And I don't blame them. They were on Big Noon Fox to play Wisconsin for whatever reason, but there were better things to do with your time. So as we go into the Michigan week, I want to acknowledge Ohio State has had an incredible year. And as a sign of integrity in our show, we did not bring them up because they were not interesting, even though there's a ton of Buckeye fans we could have been trying to get.
It's true. Yeah, they were so good that I didn't want to talk about them because there's nothing to say. They just beat everybody. But anyway, yeah, conference title for the Big Ten: Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Purdue. It's probably going to be Ohio State, Indiana, right? I mean,
More
really,
It
than
should
likely, yeah.
be.
that'll be pretty sweet. That's all I got to say. Um, Wanted to shout this out. Tennessee won at Florida for the first time since 2003. And by God, the score did not reflect how big of a blowout. I think it was 28-0 at the end of the first quarter. At one point, Tennessee had 200 yards, 21 points, and Florida had 0 yards in the first quarter. Zero. So
Is
uh,
that good?
that is bad. That is very
Okay,
bad.
thank you.
At some point, it's almost more impressive they didn't have like minus. Like, how
Yeah.
did things go that poorly? Where Whatever. That's crazy.
And you know what? Florida 3-win team, okay? And there were fans in that stadium for at least the first half. So I'll just say good fans. That's all I have to say. Next topic. Fuck Hugh Freeze.
Damn
Josh,
straight.
go for it.
Cool. Auburn played Mercer, won 62-17. Mercer FCS, obviously, but top 10 FCS, going to be a playoff team, perhaps a playoff bye in the FCS. Better football team than Ball State, who Auburn only beat by like 16 points earlier this year. But like what we found out today or yesterday is that Hugh Freeze was playing the third best quarterback the entire season as our starter. So that was cool. Deuce Knight looked like Cam Newton, true freshman. He had uh, damn near 200 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, and a couple through the air. I don't give that much like I'm not saying that this kid is going to be fucking awesome or anything because like at the end of the day, those rushing yards mostly came on like 50 plus yard rushes where you're just outrunning FCS athletes, which you should be able to do, I guess, but whatever. He made awesome throws, tight windows. We used the intermediate part of the field and not just dump offs and screens. So just once again, I know I've done this a bunch of weeks in a row, but Hugh Freeze is a fucking criminal. He should not get a cent of his buyout. The offense was terrible all year, and then the bad man got kicked out, and the offense was good. Cool. We can move on, unless you guys also watch this game.
No, no one watched this game, but I'm
Good.
glad. I'm glad.
I
There was
watched
not
it
a
on a
game in
plane.
the SEC worth watching. That's so sad.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I did text my friends because Indiana's hating on us for whatever reason, and I said, "Ah, yes, because there's that big of a difference between Indiana and Purdue." Yeah, like thanks. Sorry, not big. Sorry, there's that much of a difference between Purdue and Samford as far as scheduling.
Competition quality. All right. Illinois, what the fuck was that? Josh, you want to talk about it?
So you all asked like who did Illinois play this week, right?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I
I have
didn't know
no
what you're
idea.
referring to. Yeah.
Well, they're happy you don't know. They lost 27-10 to Wisconsin.
Oh, you know what? I did see this because people
Jesus.
were saying like maybe Fickle will turn this around. I saw that because they played Oregon kind of close. They did this, whatever. I'm not a Wisconsin fan. I'm just don't kill the delivery, man.
I said some very mean things about Luke Fickle on this same platform, and I don't take any of them back. But an 84-yard touchdown run is all it took to separate these teams. I don't know what's happening with Illinois. Uh, it makes me look at their entire season a little bit differently, dropping this one on the road. Luke Altmaier, I remember thinking he was probably the best quarterback in the Big Ten when the season started. That's all.
Yeah, Illinois has kind of been floating in as a ranked team every now and then this season, so obviously a little disappointing for them. But on the topic of the Big Ten, there's a proposed Big Ten equity deal, which I'm going to just read this tweet. Assuming all schools end up on board, would pay $190 million to Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, 155 million to USC and Oregon, and 110 million to everybody else. I was surprised Nebraska was not in the USC Oregon tier. It's Nebraska. It's kind of a big deal, right?
Well,
How
that's the
far is
sticking
this
point
What
from
fucking
the
have they
rest of
done?
this. That's the sticking point from the rest of this tweet from Tony Paul 1984 from Detroit News. One source from one of the everyone else schools says, "Wait, so we're the same as Rutgers?" Yes. Yes, you are. You are
Nebraska
the
is a
same
huge
as Rutgers.
Nebraska has a huge fan base. I just figured they'd get more money on that alone.
How many bowl games has Nebraska been to since they've been in the Big Ten?
Hey, they have loyal fans. I don't know what to tell you.
The
They
same as Rutgers is all I'll say.
they did
That's not
lose.
me saying this. This is someone whose job is to look at a spreadsheet and say, "Oh yeah, these about equal value." You don't want outsiders in college football. So when you're asking for private equity to come in, look you in the eye and say you are worth this much, You might not like what they say. Stop inviting them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought Michigan's like Board of Regents had a very very on the nose quote to say about this. They said, "Yeah, this is a fucking payday loan and we're not broke. Why are we doing this?" And like the other part of it is that this is like all on hold right now because Michigan and USC aren't in and they're the I guess California pension fund isn't interested unless they have all 18 teams on board. Good for Michigan and USC for saying, "Hey guys, this is fucking bullshit that you're trying to ram this through just athletic directors and like I think university presidents might be involved, but like board of trustees aren't involved at any of these schools except for Michigan because they don't have a president. This is all very stupid. Like you said, why would you even invite this in? You have the richest TV rights media deal of anyone. Like, I thought that a small time conference like the Atlantic Coast Conference, for instance, would be the first ones to try and do something like this, but this is just fucking stupid. Why are you trying to get you know, $150 million immediate infusion that what are you going to use it on? You can only spend 20 million of that on players. Are you going to use this to try and pay a coach buyout? That's a
Yes,
really
that
short,
is
that's a
the answer.
really, yes, but that's such a short-sighted way of looking at this, being like, we're going to give up future earnings so that we can just make a decision right now. Like, come on, that's fucking stupid.
Future
I did
earnings indefinitely at a 10% clip.
I didn't think it would be quote northern schools that would sell it because you hear like the stories of old SEC teams and it's like and Shane Gillis is calling out Nick Saban, before a game like I know you used to pay the players and it's like they're not the conference that is trying to do this deal. It's the guys up north trying to I guess hey go big or go home I guess. But yeah, no, this is terrible. And I think to your point, it seems like the only schools with competent no, 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 I want to be nice here. But schools
Don't be.
with good business schools are the ones that are being like, hey, don't think you want to do this. And yet, but, I guess democracy, right? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, this is like a Motown deal where like you give a nickel for all your future earnings forever. Like this is terrible. Like we gotta find out in 10 years about this. All right. Anyway, we can move on to previews. I think Josh had a okay. So our week, or well, I don't know what week it is technically. Our
14.
next, yeah, week 14 previews. First game, Texas A&M at Texas. We have Colby here, our local Texas A&M alum.
Beat
Talk to
reporter.
me, talk to me a little bit about what this game means, because you grew up in the state of Texas and it was gone for a long time and now it's back. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Oh, yes. So, um, it's a big deal. I was actually talking to, we have some coworkers that are either from Washington or some other states that kind of have similar thing. And yeah, as far as in-state rivalries, this is the one. I know talk about politics getting involved in your college football teams. There was a long push for people in Austin to like get this game like written in the Constitution for Texas. I know other states have it, like Florida, where it's like I think Florida and Florida State have to play each other or something like that. Something crazy.
Really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
literally did not know that. That's so
Oh,
fun.
it was a thing. So I remember when I was in high school, one of my favorite teachers, I actually still talk to him. He was a Longhorn grad, and I remember literally we were like that morning that it got announced or that day, that morning. Um, I think I had sent him a link or something about like, oh, it'd be cool if blah 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 happened, or like, oh, I'm hearing steam, and then they announced they're going to the SEC, and I was like, oh, this is great. But just so one, it means a lot. Two, I want to say Texas fans, here's how I see it. If you are a t-shirt fan, you think that your biggest rivalry is Oklahoma. If you actually went to the school, they'll tell you it's like, no, 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 it's A&M. And I say that because academically, or the institutions, you can't necessarily compare Oklahoma and Austin. Not to offend anybody, just saying. If you look at like where research grants go to, and like, all of the billionaires combined from the schools, you can't really compare Texas and Oklahoma, but you compare A&M and Texas. And there's like I found this Twitter thread, I think it was the start of the season, and it was talking about how basically all the times Texas screwed over A&M. So from like A&M didn't get a business school until like the 70s or the 80s. It is because Texas said that it would be, quote, redundant to have two schools in the state with a business school because they already had a business school. And so it's just stupid stuff like that where it's like it goes beyond just the athletic programs. It is like everything is they fight over each other. So yeah, this thing is huge. I will say, there was a time in my life when Colt McCoy was going. So my mom's side of the family is Texas fans. My dad's side is A&M fans. But nobody actually ever went to the schools. It was just a thing. And so I do have pictures of myself wearing like a Longhorn jersey from like Walmart when I was like in third grade. But the caveat was it had the number 12 on it. And then before that, my earliest picture of me is like 6 months old in an A&M onesie. So I will say, I've been here, I've been around a while, but it's a big deal. The fact that so I was there last year, and obviously, like the game turned out to be a dud. Like I was, what an awful game to watch. And then not even that, I was third deck, freezing my butt off, and we don't even score an offensive touchdown. Like yikes! But man, the hype, the leading up to that was so great. Of course, like when you go to public schools and stuff in the state of Texas, it's usually like half your class goes to Texas, and then half your class goes to A&M, and then you sprinkle everybody else. So big deal, big deal. Excited to be in Austin this year, and I did want to say, more than happy to let them take the crown of Texas 8-4 this year. You looking forward to it.
Somebody has to carry the 8-4 title in the state of Texas.
It won't be us, man. It won't be us this year. We had too many wins.
Uh, well, with that being said, shall we go around and pick this one? Because this is a big one, actually, not just because it's a rivalry, but it will decide a lot of the SEC race, which is still up in the air a lot. Josh, well, you know what? Actually, also, by the way, these two schools are fucking Big 12 schools for the record. Anyway, just
Facts.
that needs to be said. Texas A&M, and fucking Missouri, Oklahoma this past week being SEC games was so stupid.
No, you've gotta return harder. They're Southwest Conference teams.
Yeah, yeah.
Go back to your roots.
Oh, I did want to say on that note, I'm
You're
not sure
muted,
if y'all
Josh.
are familiar with this, but so go back Southwest Conference. This is the most A&M thing ever. So Eric Dickerson, right? He's getting courted. He was about to go to A&M, and then like what I don't know if they gave him a car or like whatever it was, but and then at the last minute SMU buys him out. And then so the donors at A&M, again, this is the most Aggie thing ever. They're like, they bought us out. Like they can't do that. Like we gotta take them to court or whatever. And they're like, no, dumbass. Like, we're gonna get in trouble. Like, you can't. I was like, oh, it's the most like A&M Southwest
Officer,
Conference
he
thing
stole my
ever.
crack.
The
Like,
gold Trans Am, legendary.
yeah, yeah. Sorry. There's a joke about SMU, which is that players at SMU took a pay cut when they went to the NFL. So, anyway, Josh, what do you think? Who do you think's going to win this Texas A&M game?
You know, for months, I felt like, man, A&M's really playing with fire and they haven't been burned just quite yet. And now I expect that to burn them. I think Texas pulls it off. I think just because it's at home, I think that really bears down on them. I do think A&M's a better team and they'll still be in the playoff. It's just I respect rivalries a little too much to think it'll be that simple. So I think Longhorns get it.
What about you, John?
Respectfully to our guest picker this week, I have to maintain consistency across the season. These are two teams I don't believe in. But with that being said, someone has to win. And I guess I'll believe in A&M this week. I mean, Texas has major issues in the trenches, and I think A&M's going to do that.
Yeah, I think A&M. Okay, so initially I thought that Texas would have their number this game, but I have not really been impressed with Texas this last stretch. I think A&M's going to get them specific because A&M's defense will wreak some serious havoc on Texas's offense. I think A&M's offense is going to have a little bit of a hard time against Texas's defense just because it's a rivalry game. I think Texas is going to play their ass off on the defensive side of the field. And I think Texas's receivers just cannot catch the fucking ball, like for the life of them. They have Wingo and Moore who are like studs who can't catch the ball. And it's like, I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball. And if you get in third and long against this A&M's defensive line, they will kill you. Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
They will
Ask
fucking
ask ask Garrett Nussmeier about that
Yeah,
one.
like third and long against A&M is asking for trouble, and Texas can't run the ball on bad defensive lines. So that's where I'm like, okay. And they've got inconsistent receivers. I think it'll be a low scoring game. But I think A&M's defense will like probably get a turnover or like maybe a defensive score. So yeah, I think A&M will get them, but it's gonna be close. Um, Colby, I'll let you have your final pick. I wonder what team he's gonna pick.
So I want to preface this by saying I've actually kind of called the season mostly right to this point. I think Patricia, I told you a while back, I was like, okay, here's kind of my benchmarks for the year. If we beat Notre Dame, I was like, I think we're gonna go to the playoff. This is like in August. Because I was like, our bugaboos as a program are winning on the road and beating like good teams. I was like, okay, if you can do that in South Bend, like, okay, you're showing me this team's different. And then I wasn't necessarily too like intimidated by like Missouri or I forgot who we Arkansas. Well, I was like, okay, I could see this game go to a particular way. But I was intimidated by LSU. And I think just like Oregon did to Penn State, I think we just completely uprooted that LSU program or the whole Brian Kelly era. And I was like, okay, okay, now I have more belief that we're gonna go to the playoff, even though I already said. So I was like, and then we're pretty much a lock. My second thing was like, okay, even if we go undefeated, I think for some reason we're gonna lose in Austin. And but with that being said, I was like, okay, but if we do make the SC championship game, I think we're going to the Natty. We're gonna win it. I don't know, but I was like, that's where I see this team going. As far as like the game itself goes, I know Texas in the third quarter got a targeting call for like one of their starting linebackers or something like that. So he's out. I'm like, okay, thank you. You know, it takes a little bit of the edge off. But just to your point, Texas, I do see Arch just like getting a couple big plays in, 40 yards plus. I found it interesting that they were just like chunking the ball against Arkansas. It wasn't even like uh you know, like stop and goes or whatever. It was just like, hey, I'm gonna throw you a fade, go like 40 yards down the field, go catch it. And he actually completed some of those. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little frightening. The way I see this game going is like, how long can we as Aggies keep it together on the defensive side for our offense to finally do like score 3 touchdowns in a row? Because it happens every game where it's just like, all right, now the offense decides to play. And it's like, okay, are we going to give up another blocked punt for a touchdown? Is Marcel going to throw 2 picks before that happens, or are we just going to jump on them early? So I'm kind of curious to see. I think at least one, if not both of those will happen. But like I said, we ain't we ain't gonna beat Texas 8-4 this year, buddy. So give me the Ags.
I didn't give myself enough credit for calling a Ryan Niblett punt return after the Oklahoma game, but I feel like special teams weighs in heavy here. If that's going to be the edge Texas has in this one, I think I'm going to try and call my shot yet again. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm actually excited for this one. I was excited for the last one and was sorely disappointed. So we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, yeah. Final thing.
Josh,
Oh,
Oh,
sorry,
I
you got
think
the ball.
Josh, thank you for picking us because we don't need the everybody picking us curse, you know. So thank you.
No problem. No problem. When it was just me and Visista, I picked against Iowa State for the exact same reason. So we're good.
So I'm picking the Ags, but let me tell you, it is I'm not putting money on this game. Like, I could just as easily see Arch Heisman talk coming out of this game, dude. Like, jeez.
Oh yeah, just one last thing on Texas special teams. Yes, their returner is really good, but goddamn does their special team sucks in every single way. They get like 15 fucking penalties a game. Anyway, sorry. Next game, Navy at Memphis. I'm just gonna pick Memphis. They're at home. That's the reason I'm picking them. Josh,
Navy is the new hotness, and Memphis can't stop them. So I'm going with them.
Colby.
I gotta go with America, dude. Navy. Let's go.
I'm gonna go with Memphis. Not a lot of reasons, just vibes.
FYI, Memphis is in the United States of America. So, next game, Georgia, Georgia Tech. Man, at one point in the season, I thought this was going to be a dogfight, and Georgia started playing better at the end of the season. And man, Georgia Tech just their defense just can't stop a nosebleed. So I think it's going to be Georgia, and I don't think it'll be close anymore. I thought it'd be close at one point. John.
Wreck 'em, baby. Give me Tech.
Whoa. Neutral
I
site?
no, it's a
In
home
Atlanta.
game. It's a
No.
home game for Georgia Tech. It's just not in their home stadium because they're broke as shit. But
That's a neutral site.
Yeah.
no, no, no. It's a home game. It
Neutral.
definitely won't be 70% Georgia fans in there. No, I'm picking Tech because I narratively I need Haynes King to bounce back.
What about you, Colby?
I'm gonna take Georgia Tech. So I think isn't A&M known as QBU? Didn't we have like four starting quarterbacks this year with Wegman, Haynes, and then Calzada? I have a special
If that
place in
Come
my
makes you
heart.
on. Come
QBU.
on.
What?
Do
Fucking
not
Calzada.
stop
You're
this.
claiming Calzada
Stop
glory
this.
now?
We did. Now what he did with like the whole money post a couple weeks ago, I had a friend text me. He's like, "Oh yeah, you'll get your man's." I was like, "Yeah, this isn't his best moment, but there's a special place in my heart for that guy. I was at that game, so he
We
did the only
love
thing that
Haynes King on this podcast.
no, I feel Haynes just had a lot of injuries when he was with us. So yeah, I'm glad he's having some success. I think it'll continue. And then I don't believe in Georgia's offense. That's my thing. I'm just like, cool, you got it done against Texas. I think a lot of teams got it done against Texas this year, but yeah, Georgia Tech.
What about you, Josh?
Um, Listen, Haynes King is another creative player, if you ask me. And it's funny, I didn't even know he had injury history. I think he just gave up having them now. But I remember last year watching that Georgia Tech Georgia game and thinking, wow, what a once in a lifetime performance from that guy. And now they just made the entire season out of that. I don't think you can do it twice. I think it's been a hell of a year. And even though they fell off towards the end, and it's still not technically over, no, I'm not giving it to him. I think Georgia wins this one.
Awesome. Next game, Iowa, Nebraska. Why is this on? Because this is the slot bowl that I watch when I'm at home for the holidays. Last year was disgusting, and Iowa somehow won. Nebraska, you just came off a loss to Penn State. That was bad. Iowa, you came back against Michigan State. Iowa, I'm picking Iowa. Iowa owns Nebraska. That's my pick. What do you think, Josh?
Oh, me?
Hmm?
Oh, I'm picking the Hawkeyes, dude. I'm not even like, there's no shame in the rivalry game for me. There'll be 8-4. That's kind of funny. I think Nebraska is owned until otherwise notified, and backup quarterback, you get a pass. It's fine. This is still a solid year for Nebraska in the grand scheme of things. We've been harsh on them, but hey, a 7-win Nebraska team. How many years would you have taken that? So we're good.
What do you think, Colby?
Yeah, Iowa, they're gonna win by like 2 points, 17-15 or something stupid. But yeah, give me Iowa.
John?
Iowa, same exact reasoning.
Perfect. All right. Ohio State at Michigan. It's the game. John, you go first. You go first. I need to think about this.
I'm going to take Michigan because I've seen just last year a worse Michigan team than the one they have this year beat a similar quality Ohio State team. It's in Michigan. Uh, for me to pick Ohio State in this game, I need Ohio State to win one, and then I'll go back to actually thinking about it.
Colby?
Yeah, Michigan. As Josh Pate says, every time you like pick against Michigan, there's like, they really do you one over. With it being at home, and then, again, who are you really going to point to for Ohio State to be like, oh yeah, yeah, you're really gonna destroy Michigan? Like you didn't. And yeah, you blew out some teams, but I think it's one of those rivalries where like you've lost to him so much, it's kind of become a thing. And I don't I don't know how much time or effort they put into it, but I think that thing will continue this Saturday.
Josh?
I believe the Buckeyes have been psychologically tormented by this team for long enough. And now that they've had a real trophy to lift that really means something, I think Ryan Day can get out of his own head. I think as much as he could be playing with house money, he's playing with it now. They've had a boring season. They're waiting for a big game. And now they finally got it. I feel like all the negative aura around this game for them has been mostly dissipated. So I'm going to give it to them. It's not going to be easy, but then I look at the Big Ten standings and think, oh, they're 7-1. Michigan could beat them and be in the Big Ten championship game somehow. I think because the stakes are so clear outside of just it's a rivalry and we have to win. I think the slate's been cleared. It's just time to win. If not now, then when? When? Come on. This is the worst. Well, you know what? I was going to say this is the worst Bryce Underwood's going to be, but he's a Michigan quarterback. Who knows? So, no, that's all. That's all.
Okay, I'm gonna pick Ohio State. I will. But I swear to God, if they come out and they play with their little crab claws, Michigan standing there with their little crab claws, and Ohio State goes, "Oh, we can out crab you," then they will lose. They have to go out and play their own fucking game. Okay. It's gonna be close because it's stupid. But yes, I'll go with Ohio State because like they have the ability to throw the football forward. And like I just don't think that's true with Michigan. Um Vanderbilt at Tennessee. Who thought that this would have been a game that would be important to pick? I'm gonna go with Vanderbilt because it'd be awesome. Josh,
I'm going with Diego Pavia and his drunk ass mom, who was at the game the other day. Crazy. That's what a winner's mom looks like, dude. Let's go.
Colby.
I'm gonna go with Tennessee. I really want Vandy to win. One of my best friends went to Vandy, but I think Tennessee. Sure, you beat a deadbeat Florida, but you did it pretty convincingly, and you get a little confidence going into like your rival, and then Knoxville's a pretty hard place to play, so I'll take Tennessee.
John.
Will Theo Vaughn be in attendance of this game?
He's got it. All the that orbit of comedians will be there.
Yeah, I'm going with Vandy. I Tennessee doesn't do a lot for me, and I've seen Diego Pavia drag that team kicking and screaming to wins a bunch of times in the last 2 years, so I think he's going to do it again.
Great. Next game, Alabama at Auburn, the Iron Bowl. And I'm just gonna point out, please, 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 Auburn win this game, please. I'm pretty sure if they beat Alabama, Georgia gets to go to the SEC title game, which I want to happen. Also, it'd be so funny if they lost to this Auburn team. And worse Auburn teams have taken better Bama teams deeper. So come on, I'm gonna pick Auburn out of pure self-desire. John,
Auburn, dude, come on. It's Jordan Hare at night has not exactly been as terrifying in the last 2 years as it was before because of a certain Iceman. But now that hooker scent is out of the stadium, it's going to go back to being as haunted as it used to be, and it's going to be a hell of an atmosphere, and Alabama's going to lose.
Colby.
Let me tell you, man, that place is still haunted. We should have gone to the SC championship game last year and had a rematch with Texas, but we couldn't get it done. With all respect due to Amari Daniels, he really helped us out there at the end. But yeah, no, we lost. Was it Cadillac Williams? Before that, they all also beat
That
us
was,
there too.
yeah, that
Oh
was
my
the
God.
2022 game.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah. No. So, I'll pick Auburn because I've seen it happen too many times. Late November game, you're gonna get you in overtime. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna happen.
Josh.
I don't give a piss about nothing but you're saying. I'm going with the tide.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
They kind of are objectively the better football team going into this game, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
They could be in their heads though. Like, I
yeah,
mean,
no,
you know what I
absolutely.
mean? I think that seems to be a thing with DeBoer's teams, or at least like since with Alabama, it's like, man, like they take a loss and they take it hard. Like it's they don't necessarily have like the best. They don't play the best coming out of like losses like that. It took them a little bit to get their feet right after Florida State, you know. So
Yeah,
I do think there could be a little bit of that. And again, you're on the road, so
absolutely.
I
Next,
So,
just want to say I had to confirm this. They lost to Oklahoma 2 weeks ago, and I feel like because of that, I don't think Auburn's getting this one. I think they already had their, oh my God, we're not as good as we thought they were. And then they had to play a whole extra week against Eastern Illinois, a college I did not know existed until I looked at the Apple Sports app just now.
the Salukis,
I
man.
think they're gonna be ready because they're like, fuck, we lost 2 weeks and then we didn't get any better the next week. Like, come on.
Well, yeah, but a main thing is when Alabama loses this game, they've got to be out of the playoff, right? Like,
it'd be so nice, dude. It'd be so great if they did it. It's gonna be my main TV pick for the week.
same.
I really want to see. Not that I watch a lot of Feinbaum, but you know that guy Legend that calls in every once in a while and like goes on those rants. Oh, there'd be nothing better than come in like the Sunday after Thanksgiving, Monday after Thanksgiving, and just hear that guy's voice just rage on about DeBoer. This guy can't, spit 2 feet without, hitting his thigh or whatever,
This
something stupid.
He don't know
goddamn
shit about the
liberal.
South, goddamn.
Ugh.
Damn, boy.
Speaking
Next topic.
speaking of West Coast teams, Oregon at what because DeBoer coached at Washington.
Shut up.
Oregon at Washington. I've been really hard on Oregon this year. I picked a lot against them against Iowa. I picked against them against this USC team. Uh, they have begrudgingly earned my respect, so I'm gonna pick Oregon in this one. Josh,
Oregon's peaking at the right time. Good for them. They're winning this one. Not even kind of worried about Washington, honestly.
Colby,
Yeah, I'll take Oregon. I like upsets, but I was able to catch a little bit of both the Washington game and the Oregon game, and yeah, I think the Ducks motorcycle is just getting hot now. It's a little scary, so I'll take Oregon.
John.
Yeah, I've got Oregon as well at the end of the day. Washington's a good football team, though. They've kind of gone a little bit under the radar since they had those mediocre losses middle of the season, fell out of the rankings, all that stuff. But they're a good team, just like you guys have said. Oregon's been on a different level since losing to Indiana.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Yeah. Last game, the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss at Mississippi State. We talked about Mr. Kiffin earlier. What do we think, John?
Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss is going to win, but I just
Hmm.
more than anything, I wanted to have this on because of the Lane conversation, but could you imagine how sick it would be if the alleged ultimatum is true and Ole Miss like fires him the night before the game because he hasn't told them what he's going to do yet? Like, God, that would be so awesome. Also, this is a banger of Black Friday of games. You've got this game, which is regularly one of the stupidest games of the year. You've got the Slop Bowl, Georgia Tech. I mean, A&M Texas is awesome. But yeah, I got Ole Miss.
To just to push back a little bit, this is a Mississippi State team that beat Arizona State. They played deep with Texas. They had them. They're a little feisty. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Colby.
Uh, it's hard to play in Starkville as Nag. It's also hard to play in Oxford. So, but I'm going to take Mississippi State. I hope they have enough gas in the tank to get through this one. But yeah, no, they kept it close with us for a half. Should have beat Texas. Brandon Walker is just like get that guy out of the country. First of all, he has no good sports takes, and then he's a curse to his own university. Just like Jesus, like please leave. But hopefully he's not in attendance, and if he's not, I think it's Mississippi State.
Josh.
Brandon Walker's not all that bad. He hates the Hawks too. So, I mean, I don't mind a national voice taking that side of things. But I'll go with Mississippi. Yeah, Ole Miss, Mississippi. That one. Whatever. Fuck the Egg Bowl, dude. These guys suck. Whatever. Fucking dog pissing, get a penalty. Fuck this.
It's
I
awesome.
will
It's
never
awesome.
forget that.
We're due for another one of those, dude.
I'll pick Ole Miss, but this game was just a little feisty because of all the Lane Kiffin might leave stuff, and Mississippi State has a puncher's chance at home. I'll still go Ole Miss. I mean, I think they're a better team, but yeah, those
Here's
were
a galaxy brain take. Did Lane Kiffin do this knowing that he won't have to play in Oxford ever again? He won't be doing the coach's show inside the stadium before the game. He won't be coming off the bus from the nearby hotel the day of the game. He'll just be going on the road to Starkville where, oh, everyone hates me. What? Who cares? And then he'll be in Atlanta. And then he'll be, I don't know, at Oregon or something. I have no fucking idea. But I'm just curious.
I don't think that's the case, but it would be sick. All right, well
He really gamed this out.
those were our picks for the week. I'm gonna stop it here.